Welcome to Expedition Networking, a special segment of the Networking RX podcast. I'm Frank Agan, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections, and your host for this program. For those of you who are familiar, on the Networking RX podcast, we share information and have conversations with experts, such as authors, researchers, and social scientists. And all of these programs are aimed at helping you learn how to become better at building professional relationships and understanding why they work. In this Expedition Networking segment, however, we're going to bring on successful entrepreneurs and unique professionals and explore their networking adventure and learn how they used relationships to create lasting success. Today on Expedition Networking, we have Bridget Hom, and she is a connectivity coach at Bridge to Freedom Coaching. She helps entrepreneurs and leaders in their industry to take control of their mindset, level up in how they do their personal and professional relationships, and break free from the sales pitch. We'll certainly touch on that. Bridget believes that life and business go hand in hand. Everything is connected. Create a culture of connectivity and become your own empowerment generator in your industry, and success in life and business will be yours. So, Bridget, welcome to the program.
Thanks. I'm super thrilled to be here with you.
Well, that's awesome, because it's good to have you. All right, you're a coach. Walk us through how this all came about. I know I will prime a few of the particulars. You were an on-camera news person at one point in time.
Yeah, I've done a couple of different things on camera. I worked for a home healthcare agency for a little bit. That commercial is still circulating in South Florida, I heard. I get a text every once in a while. Hey, there you were. Oh, that's cool. I did legal news reporting. However, that was mainly online, no face show, no face value. And it was just mainly for the 5 boroughs of New York City. So that was a whole another interesting experience.
All right, well, give us the story of how you got into coaching. Where did you start out? You wanted to do X, and then you ended up in coaching, and I know it involves other people.
I'd love to share that story with you. Okay, so my first love was always ministry, leadership, helping people to really become who they were meant to be, developing critical thinking, discernment skills. And I found myself shopping at Publix and helping the person who was helping me with my groceries, giving them action steps and anchors to remind them of who they want to be and how to level up in their lives. And so one day I just said, I'm a domestic engineer right now with my 3 boys at home, but I really think I should do something more with this skill set, this gift, this passion of mine. So I launched into a coaching program, and I was a certified life and health coach. And then I met someone salsa dancing who said, I have an amazing vision for a company. And I said, what is that? And it ended up being a placement agency. He actually gave me the best advice I have ever received, and I'll share that with you a little bit later. But he said, let's do this. Let's launch a placement agency coupled with your coaching. So then I was able to add, on top of my coaching certification for life and health coaching, mindset and business strategy for coaching based on my experience in the business world and the healthcare industry for our placement agency. So it's a combination. It's my passion for people. It's, the unique skill set that I am provided with. I'm a powerful influencer, a master connector, and a master relationship builder. And then a copulation of the health coaching that I've done, the life coaching, the relationship building aspects of everything from, ministry to business to, life, just doing life with people. And so that's kind of what how it came to fruition was the 90-day Find Your Freedom program, so that I could help people to level up in their industry as entrepreneurs, as people who have businesses, but also have lives. Isn't that funny? we sometimes separate those two. So that's how it really got started.
So at what point did you I mean, you're this domestic engineer. We'll use your term, domestic engineer. Um, how did you find coaching? I mean, it's not, you don't sit down with your guidance counselor in high school, and, right? It's attorney, accountants,
Yeah.
bookkeeper. Um, life coach is relatively new. I mean, it is. I mean, it was explained to me. Life coaching really came from the 90s when there was this huge influx of people leaving the military
Mm.
and needing something to do. And so they, came up with this whole, helping. That's where life coaching really kind of started. That was the beginning of it. So it's really not much more than 25 years old. So I don't-
Well, there's this right now, I would say that there's a surging need for coaches. And I'll tell you why. It's because people love partnership. When you partner with someone who will stretch you, empower you, and help you to see things differently, I mean,
Mhm.
how much more can you grow in your business or your relationships when you have that second opinion? So I see that a lot of people are craving partnership, and partnership is not a new thing. That's not a new desire for anyone. I think since man first crushed grapes, or from the beginning of time, Adam and Eve, everyone wants a partner. And so when a lot of people say, hey, I kind of want to know what it looks like to partner with a coach, you just say, well, how would it feel like to have a partner with your life and your business and your health, but doesn't take any of your profit from your business, only will give you, valuable advice and experiences and different communication strategies that will help you to change internally and externally in your relationships. And you may lose 10 to 15 pounds at the same time. And someone who's totally invested in just you. I think in our culture we're craving that type of healthy partnership. And I mean, it's lacking in our culture in many, many ways. So I think overall, just partnership is necessary. It's something that's desired,
Yeah.
and it helps all people to level up in some way or another.
Yeah. Well, I think we have more choices now than we've ever had. And again, back to, my conversation with my guidance counselor, what do you want to do? Right. And there were buckets, be a fireman, a policeman. And I'm not trying to be sexist, but there weren't as many buckets as there are now. And now there's so many different buckets. And when you have choices, I think there's a lot of people getting stuck.
Yes, and I'll tell you why. So what I've seen is that people get stuck because they don't know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know who they're being. So there are people who do coaching, and there are people who are coaches. So just like people naturally gravitate towards different jobs, different careers based on who they are and the unique skill set that they have. So that's literally why I became a coach. So I did notice, I saw this coaching program was doing an excellent job online marketing, and so naturally they picked me up. And so that's literally the easy in, because they did organic marketing online. So they scooped me up, got into a program, was able to make that happen, and they gave a specific skill set to make that happen. And then as a coach, you have to make it your own. So that's kind of how the coaching program got started. But a coach is just who I am. So that was just the next step up. Like, oh, I have to make this a real thing. Like if
Right.
I can become profitable based on a skill set that I already have, and then just level up and fine tune it, that's what we should be doing. Just like if you're a firefighter, some people who are passionate about helping others will gravitate towards that kind of job for multiple reasons. It's just, so if you decide who you're being, and then you launch into, okay, what can I do to portray that or to grow that part of me, then you're going to create a culture of connectivity. Then you're going to be a natural empowerment generator.
Well, I mean, I think that underscores the point that we have the choice. You had the ability to say, okay, I'm going to make a business out of something I really enjoy doing anyways. Um, and a lot of people kind of have those same sort of epiphanies rather than, you know what, sorry about your luck. You just have to be an accountant for the rest of your life and suck it up. And that's the way it's going to be. It doesn't have to be that way anymore. And you sort of help people with respect to that. Now, how do you find clients? How do they find you, I guess?
I'm glad you asked. Well, just like you, I believe in business networking. I love the Zoom world that has opened up so many doors. I had one specific Zoom networking meeting that when COVID hit, that really opened up doors for me. Before I was marketing just by meeting people, at my son's school, just in the other business I was in with my placement agency, with the home healthcare industry, just meet people organically, and then just start a conversation. And that's how it really all starts, right? With that conversation. And so I remember going to this one Zoom business networking meeting for the first time back in April. And I remember going, I don't know what this is going to look like. I said, Bridget Hom here with Bridge to Freedom Coaching. Are you ready to level up? And just started going into one-on-ones.
Right.
And that's really how it starts, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, oh, it does. I guess my question is at what point, not necessarily in your business, or maybe it was in your business, did you realize that there was something to this relationship thing? Because you're going through coaching and you're kind of learning a skill set, much like a plumber learns the trade, but that doesn't drive business. That just drives an ability, So was there a point where you're like, okay, you know what, I can't just be good at what I do. I've got to be good at finding people to do what I'm good at.
That's a powerful question. And it's so funny. It's so deep right now for me. Like relationships is just how I do life. So right. The business is kind of woven throughout that relationship. So you start with the relationship and then the focus is always adding value. So when it comes to marketing, it's your focal point is always adding value to people's lives versus selling them a message or a product or a service. That's how you do relationships,
Right. Yeah.
In the business world. So transposing that, like you start to speak to people's internal terrain. You start to attach humor and humanity to your business. You show up as yourself. And it's so easy to forget that, right? We get in this business hat, then we decide, we're sharing our message, we're sharing our product and our service. And I'm like, did you just leave yourself at the door?
Yeah.
So I would say I bring myself with me to every meeting.
Well, you had made something in your sales pitch, and break free from the sales pitch.
Yes.
And I've seen other videos you've done. I mean, you're a proponent of this, and I totally agree with it. But I had that piece of my life professionally where I felt I needed to do something that was uncomfortable, pitch people. And I hated it. And I don't want to say I almost quit over it. But I almost resigned myself to the notion that I just wasn't going to be as successful as I could be because I didn't want to be doing that. I didn't want to be closing people. I didn't want to be selling something that they didn't want.
So that's very powerful belief system that you're sharing right now. Sorry, I can't take off my coach's hat sometimes.
Yeah.
So then what you just said was how you felt about the close, how you felt about your message. So in coaching, you want to get clear with, okay, how are you showing up feeling about that message? And then how are you showing up feeling about closing? Because when you said closing, it sounds like it was closing in your mind was very negative, predatory, hungry. There was all these negative words associated with closing. Therefore, when you show up to close someone, you show up like that.
Well, and I am interviewing you, aren't I? No, I'm kidding.
I don't know what happened. You struck a chord, a coaching chord.
No, well, but we're all a product of our past, right?
Yes.
And I have a good friend from law school. I was in law school and we did some things together. And he was, I went from college right to law school. He went to work and then came back to law school. And he had a very successful sales career with AT&T. And he would tell me, he said, Frank, I did really well. I made a lot of money. I'm going to take a pay cut being an attorney. I just think it's going to be a better life for me, but I could sell. And I'll tell you right now, I sold a lot of things to people that they didn't need, and so I would watch him out there maneuvering and thinking, okay, I guess that's what you got to be. That's what you got to do. I'm not comfortable with that. But that was my role model. And now I've learned through talking with people like you and Michelle and other people that, you know what, I can just be myself and I can have an expertise and people can come find me and they want to buy.
Well, sure. And you have, of course, you have to be able to share information, but what if you could share your message, your product, or your service in such a way that you could step people into having that, manifesting it for themselves and really digesting it so that they can answer you truthfully if this would work for them or not. And then if it does work for them, since you've stepped them into that vision and having it already, then you just give them the opportunity to solve their problems faster.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
That's all the close is. Give people the opportunity to solve problems faster. Give them, clarify if this will work for you and for them. Because like I said, it all goes back to partnership. Do you want to partner together to solve these problems faster?
No, I totally agree. I totally agree. It's, somebody put it to me, there are 7 billion people on the planet. You don't need everyone as a client. You couldn't handle everyone as a client. As a coach, I don't know where your limits are, but in my business, well, it doesn't matter. But I mean, I would venture to say for a coach, 100 clients is way too many. But that's such a small little sector of, but there.
Not a lot.
Yeah, well, let's just use 100 as the number. There are 100 people out there who need what you have to offer.
Sure. And you show them how you can add value to them. If it makes sense, then you guys partner together. It's very simple, but we complicate it,
we do.
Our brain has a meeting every morning about how they're going to mess up our day, they're going to show up hungry, show up, this way. And so that's why it's so important to do the mental rehearsals and really decide who you're going to be when you show up to share how you can add value to others.
All right. You pushed me off on this. You're going to tell me that what is the best advice you ever received?
I'd love to give you a really famous quote, but
it will be famous because you're going to say it.
You're funny. So the best advice I've ever received for life and for business was I asked my business partner, I said, what do I do? How should I show up right now for this huge networking meeting? He goes,
right.
All I want you to do is to be you. All I want you to do is to be you. That's it. And I said, that just triggered, okay, game on. I know how to do that.
Yeah.
I know what that looks like. And that's how I was able to, continue to combine, the ideologies in my program with, the empowerment generator, add value to others based on who you are, and then allow them to add value to you based on who they are. And culture of connectivity. If we have a whole bunch of people who know who they are being when they are launching into business, when they're launching into their life and their personal relationships, I mean, culture will function so at like the best capacity ever.
Well,
sorry, go on.
Well, you didn't have to prepare for that, right? If you'd said to you, hey, you need to do this, this, and this, you'd be like, okay, I kind of need to get into the zone here. And you don't have to. You're already in the zone. You do that every day.
Most people are in the zone. Most people have to be brought into that zone again.
Right.
And that's what coaches do.
Yeah. Well, I've watched enough of your videos on Facebook. Yeah. Are they on LinkedIn too? They might be. But anyhow, yeah. But you're just you. I mean, I've talked to you a couple times now. Who's keeping track? I've talked to you, but you're just you. And that makes it easy because I just, I know what I'm dealing with. And I take that, I mean that in a good way, but I think that's great advice. Just be you. All right, some fun questions here. Well, before we wrap up,
I'm excited.
Are you really? Okay.
Yeah.
If you're having a bad day, what do you do?
Salsa dance.
Okay.
Salsa dance or sing or go play outside with the boys. I throw a mean spiral for a football.
Okay.
And, I'm often, asked to play on the team with all the little boys in the neighborhood. So
okay.
Play. That's what I do.
Okay. Well, good. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh my gosh. I would read people's minds.
Oh, okay.
Because that just sounds fantastic. Can you imagine how many people I could coach like perfectly if I could know what they were thinking?
Well, I would be offended.
You wouldn't know that I had that superpower. I wouldn't tell you.
No, but if I had that superpower and I could hear what people were saying, it's like, oh my God, his socks don't match. I'd be like, I don't want to. There's certain things I don't want to know, right? You want to be able to turn it off, have a filter.
Yeah. Well, yeah, of course you have an off button, 100%. But that would be it always comes from a place, even with coaching, it always comes from a place of radical acceptance, radical self-acceptance first, a place without judgment. So just seeing people as they truly are, Yeah.
All right, last one. How many unread emails are sitting in your inbox? Ballpark.
Oh, man.
Generally speaking.
6,000.
Oh, really? Wow.
Great.
Wow. Well, it's interesting because I ask that question a lot and I get a whole range of things. I touch everything. But then there are other people who have a different approach, and yours is just a different approach. Does it work for you?
It's a learning process. It's
okay.
a journey. Okay. I look and then I go, oh, okay, I'm going to answer that. Most of these are not important emails, by the way.
Okay. Well, I think that's a good qualifier. So.
It's time to get the new year started right with cleaning out the emails. That's what the goal is.
Well, again, if it works for you, then it's okay. If you're missing opportunity, then it's a problem, right? And it's
about never missing opportunity.
Right. So anyhow, Bridget, I really appreciate your time on the program today.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me. Anytime with you is awesome and well spent.
Before we wrap up, remember, we're looking for some enterprising business types to join our team as franchisees of AmSpirit Business Connections. Our franchisees work with entrepreneurs, sales representatives, and professionals in their area to help them become more successful through networking in a structured, weekly morning meeting. This is a unique franchise opportunity as successful business types or professionals can add this on to what they're already doing. Again, all of our franchisees do something else. For a couple hours in the morning, only a few days a week, these franchisees work the AmSpirit Business Connections program. The rest of the time, they're entrepreneurs and professionals of various kinds. The great thing is that this allows them to make more money from professional connections and at the same time make money building professional connections. Perhaps you know someone, perhaps you are that someone. Whatever the case, to learn more about the AmSpirit Business Connections franchise opportunity, please contact me using the email in the show notes or the one we provide at the end of the program.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AmSpirit.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.